There is a heat building behind your navel. Feel it for a moment. It is not the warmth of digestion or the flush of anxiety, though it may be wearing those masks. This is an older heat, a deeper heat. It feels like a pilot light that has been flickering for months, for years, suddenly fed a surge of pure fuel. You have felt it when you wake in the middle of the night, the sheets tangled around your legs, your heart pounding for a reason you cannot name. You have felt it in moments of profound stillness, when a sudden restlessness floods your body and demands you move, you act, you change something, anything, right now. You have been told this is stress. You have been told this is imbalance. You have been told to breathe through it, to manage it, to calm it down. I am here to tell you that you were given the wrong instructions. You are not meant to calm this fire. You are meant to feed it. This heat is not random. It is a signal. It is the physical evidence that something ancient and irreversible has already begun its work inside you. Within the next 48 hours, something that has not occurred with this intensity and this specific alignment for over a decade will reach its peak. The planet Mars, the great activator, the celestial warrior, the force of pure, undiluted will, is arriving at a perfect conjunction with the north node of the moon. And it is happening on a Friday the 13th. Let us be clear about what this means, because most readings will speak of action and destiny in vague terms. They will miss the metallurgy of this moment. The north node is not simply a direction. It is a point of magnetic hunger. It is the cosmic destiny point, the unlived portion of your soul's curriculum, the great what if that has been pulling on you your entire life. It is the voice that whispers, "This is not it," when you are standing in a life that looks correct on paper. It is the gravitational pull toward the person you know, in your bones, you are meant to become. And Mars, the planet of severance, of courage, of sacred anger and forward momentum, is about to press itself directly against that point. This is not a gentle nudge. This is the universe taking the divine forge hammer and striking the raw iron of your potential. The heat you feel is the metal of your own soul beginning to glow. The restlessness is the molecular structure of your life being violently rearranged, prepared for a new shape. Friday the 13th is not a day of bad luck in this context. It is a day that strips away illusion. It is a master number of alchemy, of the goddess, a day when the veil thins not to frighten, but to reveal. It amplifies the raw, honest, and sometimes brutal truth that Mars brings to the surface. So, when Mars, the blade, touches the node, the path, on the day of revelation, it creates a moment of profound and terrifying clarity. It is a moment when the difference between the life you are living and the life that is calling to you becomes an unbearable fire. A chasm opens up, and the only way across is to leap. This is not an intellectual exercise. This is a somatic event. Your body knows before your mind does. Your body has been preparing you for this leap for months. That tightness in your hips, that is the stored energy of every step you did not take. That tension in your jaw, that is the weight of every no you swallowed when your soul was screaming it. That shallow sleep, that is your spirit refusing to rest in a reality that is no longer true enough for the person you are becoming. We must speak of the nature of this fire. Mars is often misunderstood. In the old texts, the ones written before the poems became sanitized, Ares was not just the god of mindless war. He was the god of the blood rush that gives a mother the strength to lift a fallen cart off her child. He was the force that allows a seedling to break through concrete. He is the courage to finally speak the unnamed truth that has been poisoning the silence between two people for years. He is the patron of the necessary ending, He does not destroy for the sake of destruction. He severs what is rotten. He cauterizes the wound. He clears the ground so that something new, something honest, can finally grow. And when this force of necessary severance aligns with your destiny point, the message is unequivocal. Something must be cut away. Not later, not when you are ready. Now. The universe is telling you that the cost of waiting has become greater than the cost of acting. The slow decay of staying put has become more dangerous than the sharp, clean pain of leaving. This is why the heat is rising in you. It is the fire of your own will, your own life force, finally being given cosmic permission to burn through the excuses, the fears, the obligations that have kept you contained. For the next 48 hours, you are standing in the forge. You are on the anvil, and the hammer is about to fall. Not to shatter you, to shape you. You have a choice. You can resist the blow, and you will crack under the pressure, the force scattering into anxiety and undirected anger. Or you can surrender to the heat, allow the hammer to fall, and be forged into the instrument you were always meant to be. This is not a metaphor. This is the work. Let me show you how to hold your ground in the heart of the fire. Let me walk you through the signs that this great forging is already reshaping your world from the inside out. Because you are not going crazy. You are arriving. The first sign is what I call the collapse of the tolerable. These are the small annoyances, the minor compromises, the little daily frictions that you have been able to tolerate for years, which have suddenly become utterly and completely unbearable. It's the way a certain person says your name with a subtle edge of ownership. It's the low-grade dread that settles in your stomach on a Sunday evening. It's the polite conversation that feels like drinking sand. For a long time, you have managed these things. You have developed sophisticated coping mechanisms. You told yourself it wasn't a big deal, that you were being too sensitive, that this is just what adulthood feels like. But with Mars on your North Node, the divine hammer strikes, and your capacity for tolerating the inauthentic shatters. It is a visceral, bodily rejection. That conversation no longer feels just boring, it feels like a violation of your soul. That Sunday dread no longer feels like the blues, it feels like a warning siren. That person's tone no longer feels like a quirk, it feels like a cage. This is Mars burning away the diplomatic layer of your personality that was built for peacekeeping at the expense of your truth. It is stripping you down to the raw, honest core of your needs. This process can be terrifying because it makes you feel brittle, angry, and intolerant. You may lash out. You may find yourself unable to perform the social niceties that once came so easily. You are not becoming a worse person. You are becoming a more honest one. This is the first stage of the forging, the impurities rising to the surface under extreme heat. Your tolerance for anything that drains your life force, anything that is not aligned with the hungry pull of that North Node, is being systematically incinerated. Do not apologize for this newfound intolerance. It is not a flaw. It is a guidance system. It is your soul's immune response kicking in, finally rejecting what has been slowly poisoning you. Pay attention to what has become suddenly, inexplicably intolerable in the last few weeks. That is the first thing that must be offered to the fire. It is the rotten wood that must be cleared away. The second sign is the return of the ghost. This is a figure, a dream, a calling from your past that you thought was long buried, which has suddenly and powerfully resurrected itself in your life. It could be a person you once loved, whose memory now surfaces with an unnerving clarity. It could be a creative project you abandoned years ago, a manuscript in a drawer, a canvas in the attic, that is now screaming for your attention in your dreams. It could be a place you once lived, a version of yourself you left behind that now feels more real and vital than the person you are today. This is not nostalgia. Do not mistake this for a simple walk down memory lane. The North Node represents your path forward, but it is deeply connected to the South Node, which represents your past, your gifts, your karma. When Mars activates the North Node, it often does so by sending a current back through the wire to the South Node, reactivating a dormant power or an unresolved story. This ghost has returned for a reason. It is not here to tempt you back into the past. It is here to remind you of a piece of your own power you left behind. Perhaps you abandoned a dream of being an artist because it wasn't practical. The ghost of that dream returns now not to make you quit your job tomorrow, but to remind you of the courage, the passion, the authentic voice you sacrificed for security. That is the energy you need to reclaim for your path forward. Perhaps a past relationship reappears in your mind. It is not about rekindling that specific connection. It is about remembering the way you felt in your body at that time, the aliveness, the vulnerability, the part of you that knew how to love without reservation. That is the piece of your own heart you are being asked to retrieve from the ashes. The Babylonian astrologers called Mars Nergal, the lord of the underworld, the one who could walk into the land of the dead and return. This transit is giving you that power. You are being sent back into the underworld of your own history, not to get stuck there, but to retrieve a lost weapon, a forgotten treasure, a piece of your own soul that is essential for the journey ahead. Look at the ghost that has appeared. Do not ask, "What does it want from me?" Ask, "What part of me did I bury with it?" That is what you must excavate. That is the ancient metal that must be added to the crucible. It holds the strength of your lineage, the unforgotten ore of who you have always been. This is not about going backward. It is about reclaiming your roots so the tree can finally grow toward the sun. The third sign is the experience of synchronicity with teeth. We have all experienced gentle synchronicities, seeing repeated numbers, thinking of a friend right before they call. This is different. This is the universe losing all subtlety. This is synchronicity that is so loud, so specific, so demanding that it borders on the aggressive. It is not a gentle wink from the cosmos. It is a full-blown intervention. You might be agonizing over a decision to leave a job, and within a single day, you overhear 3 separate conversations from strangers about how they quit their soul-crushing job and found freedom. You may be questioning a relationship, and you open a book to a random page that describes your exact dynamic with chilling precision. You may feel a pull to move to a new city, and suddenly that city's name is everywhere, on a t-shirt, in a song lyric, on a passing truck. This is Mars, the great activator, working through the material world to force your hand. It is stripping you of the excuse of ignorance. You can no longer pretend you do not know. You can no longer say you are waiting for a sign. The signs are here, and they are not whispering. They are shouting. They are grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you awake. This can feel destabilizing, even paranoid, as if the world is conspiring to deliver a single, relentless message. It is. The purpose of this is to collapse the timeline. The universe, under this transit, is trying to get you from point A to point B as quickly as possible, and it is removing all the plausible deniability that allows you to delay. It is creating a feedback loop so intense that you cannot ignore the truth of your own desire. Your destiny, that North Node point, is pulling on you so hard that it is warping the fabric of reality around you to show you the way. The key is not to just notice these signs, but to understand them as marching orders. They are not curiosities, they are commands. Each one is a hammer strike, meant to chip away at your resistance, to break down the walls of your procrastination. When the universe becomes this loud, your only job is to listen and to obey the call. The path is being illuminated with floodlights. All that is required is that you have the courage to take the first step onto it. The fourth and most profound sign is a deep, resonant feeling of divine homesickness. This is a feeling that has no earthly address. It is a longing for a place you have never been, a feeling of belonging you have never known, a sense of purpose that makes your current life feel like a foreign country. It is an ache in the center of your chest, a quiet sorrow that persists even when things are going well. It is the feeling of being an exile in your own life. This is the North Node in its purest form. It is the soul's memory of its own blueprint, its original intention. And when Mars activates it, this homesickness becomes acute. It is no longer a gentle, melancholic hum in the background. It is a piercing cry. It is the voice of your own potential, weeping for the life it has not yet lived through you. This is perhaps the most painful of the signs, because it points not to something wrong in your external world, but to a fundamental misalignment within your own being. It is the realization that you have built a beautiful, sturdy house on the wrong land entirely. This feeling arises now because the gap between your soul's path and your life's path has become too wide to sustain. The energy of Mars is forcing a confrontation. It says, "You cannot stay here. This is not your home." And the homesickness you feel is for your true north. It is a longing for the feeling of being correctly placed, of your actions and your spirit being in perfect resonant alignment. It is a longing for the integrity of a life lived on purpose. In the Persian traditions, the stars were not just points of light. They were conscious beings, each with a himma, a spiritual will or intention. Mars's intention is to align action with truth, and when it touches your North Node, its himma is to burn away everything in you and around you that is not true to your soul's ultimate destination. This divine homesickness is the compass needle of your heart, spinning wildly because it has finally caught the scent of home. Do not pathologize this feeling. Do not try to medicate it or distract yourself from it. Sit with it. Let it break your heart open, because in the hollow of that ache, you will find the map. The longing itself is the destination. It is showing you the direction. Your job is not to get rid of the feeling, but to follow it home, even if it means dismantling the life you currently inhabit, brick by painstaking brick. These four signs, the collapse of the tolerable, the return of the ghost, synchronicity with teeth, and divine homesickness, are the evidence of the forge. They are proof that the fire is hot and the hammer is falling. This is your moment. A warrior does not get to choose when the battle begins. They can only choose to be ready when the horn sounds. This is the horn. So now we must speak of the practice. We cannot allow this immense cosmic energy to dissipate into anxiety or rage. It must be channeled. It must be given a form, a task. What I am about to share is a 3-day ritual to work with this Mars North Node conjunction. It is a piece of practical metallurgy for the soul. It begins the night before Friday the 13th. On Thursday night, you will perform the act of the hammering. You will need a piece of paper, a pen, and a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. This is not a time for journaling or gentle reflection. This is a time for brutal honesty. Mars demands nothing less. On this paper, you will write down everything that has become intolerable, everything the first sign revealed to you. Be specific. Do not write, "my job." Write, The way my boss speaks to me in meetings, the fluorescent lights that drain my will to live, the feeling of my soul shrinking every time I swipe my keycard. Do not write my relationship. Write the silence that fills the car, the way we no longer touch, the unspoken resentment that curdles the air. Write down the compromises that are suffocating you, the fears that are caging you, the self-deceptions that have become too heavy to carry. Fill the page. Do not edit yourself. Do not be polite. Let the anger, the frustration, the sorrow flow through the pen and onto the paper. This paper is the raw, unrefined iron. It is the lump of ore that contains both your pain and your potential. When you are finished, when you feel scraped out and empty, you will fold this paper as many times as you can, making it small and dense. You are compacting the energy. You are preparing it for the fire. Hold it in your hand and feel its weight. This is what you have been carrying. Tonight, you simply acknowledge the weight, that is all. On Friday the 13th, the day of the exact conjunction, you will perform the act of the quenching. You will need the folded paper, a glass or bowl of water, and your own voice. Water is the element of the subconscious, of emotion, of deep truth. It is the element that can hold and transform fire. Take the folded paper, the compacted weight of your truth, and place it in the vessel of water. Watch as the water begins to soak into the fibers, as the sharp edges begin to soften, as the ink begins to bleed. You are submerging the old structure, the rigid patterns of your life, into the great solvent of possibility. Now, you must speak. This is the most crucial part. Aloud, you will speak the unnamed truth. The thing you want, the thing you need, the decision you know you must make. The thing that the divine homesickness is pointing toward. You will speak it to the water. I must leave. I must begin. I must speak. I will no longer. I am ready to. Say it. Let your voice vibrate in the room. You are giving sound and form to the pull of your north node. You are declaring your allegiance to your own destiny, out loud, in the physical world. As you speak, you are infusing the water with your intention. You are changing its molecular structure with the frequency of your will. This is not magic, it is physics. The old pains on the paper are dissolving, and the water is becoming charged with the energy of your future. Leave the vessel untouched for the rest of the day and night. Let it sit on a windowsill or an altar, a place of significance. You have struck the hot iron, and now you have plunged it into the water. A great hissing sound is rising from your soul, the sound of transformation. A new, harder, more resilient substance is being formed in the unseen realms. You will feel a shift, a quiet calm after the storm, a sense of rightness, even if it is terrifying. You have sealed the intention. On Saturday, the day after, you will perform the act of the honing. The energy of the conjunction is still potent, and now it must be grounded. Take the vessel of water. The paper will be mostly dissolved, a pulpy mass at the bottom. The ink will have turned the water murky. This is as it should be. You have created a sacred solution, a potion of release and intention. You will take this vessel outside. If you live in a city, find a park, a tree, a small patch of earth. If you are in the country, the choice is yours. You will pour this water onto the earth. As you pour, you are returning the old stories, the dissolved pains, back to the Great Mother to be composted, to be transformed into new life. You are releasing your attachment to the struggle, and you are feeding the earth, the ground of your new reality, with the charged intention of your future. You are watering the seeds of what is to come. As the water soaks into the ground, say, "What was is now fuel. What will be now grows." After you have poured the water, look around you. Find a small stone, a fallen leaf, a piece of bark, something small that calls to you. Pick it up. This is your talisman. This is a physical piece of the new ground you have just consecrated. Carry it with you for the next 28 days, a full lunar cycle. Put it in your pocket or your purse. When you feel fear, when you feel doubt, when the old patterns try to reassert themselves, hold it in your hand. Feel its coolness, its solidity. It is a reminder of the forge, of the hammer, of the quenching. It is a reminder that you have been fundamentally changed. You are no longer the raw iron. You are the tempered blade, sharp, resilient, and ready for purpose. This is not a simple spell. This is a profound act of spiritual alchemy. It is a way to consciously participate in the great forging that is happening to you, rather than being a passive victim of its heat. It is a way to give your will a rudder in the powerful currents of this cosmic tide. I know this is not easy. The forces at play are immense, and the things they are asking of you are the hardest things a human being can do. To leave the known for the unknown. To choose the terrifying truth over the comfortable lie. To disappoint others in order to be true to oneself. There is a grief in this process, a necessary mourning for the life you are leaving behind, for the person you were who could tolerate the intolerable. Let that grief move through you. It is part of the quenching. It is the steam that rises when fire meets water. Remember the ancient smiths. They did not see the fire as an enemy. They understood it as a partner. They knew that to create something of value, of strength, of beauty, the raw material had to be submitted to an ordeal. It had to be heated, beaten, folded, beaten again, plunged into the dark water, and then patiently, meticulously, honed to a fine edge. You are in the midst of this sacred process. The pain is not a sign that you are doing it wrong. The pain is a sign that the transformation is real. You did not find this by accident. Something in you, the part that has been feeling the heat rise, the part that has been dreaming of ghosts, the part that aches with a divine homesickness, recognized the frequency of this message before I ever spoke a word. Your soul recognized the sound of the forge hammer, and it led you here, to this moment, to these instructions. Your presence here is not passive. It is an act of courage. It is the first step of turning toward the fire instead of away from it. You are not behind. You are not late. You have not missed your chance. You are standing on a threshold that was destined for you, at the exact moment you have gained the strength to cross it. Everything you have endured up to this point, every heartbreak, every failure, every compromise, was not a mistake. It was the annealing. It was the process of preparing the metal of your spirit for the fire it is now ready to withstand. You are stronger than you know. The fire is here not to consume you, but to reveal you. So in the coming days, be gentle with yourself, but do not be soft. Be compassionate with your fear, but do not obey it. Your only loyalty now is to the heat, to the truth that is rising from the core of your being, to the magnetic pull of your own becoming. The gate does not stay open forever. Mars moves on. The pressure will recede. The choice is now. The hammer is raised. The world you have known is already gone. The only question is what you will build in its place. In the space below, when you have completed your ritual, or even just in the moment you commit to it, I want you to write 2 words. Not for me, not for an audience, but as a declaration to your own soul, as a seal upon the work. Write the words, "The blade is drawn." Let it be a signal to the universe and to the deepest part of yourself that you have answered the call, that you are no longer waiting, that you have stepped out of the audience and onto the stage of your own life. Someone beneath your words, someone still hesitating at the edge of the fire, will find courage in your declaration. Your act of bravery will ripple outward. I spend hours, days, listening to these ancient currents, translating the language of the planets so that the course for you might be clear. It is a sacred trust. If this work has served you, if it has illuminated the path, subscribe and press the bell so that when the next great gate opens, I can find you again. So that we can walk these thresholds together. Go with courage. The fire is with you.